They said no one could survive this jump. The air was a razor, slicing through layers of clothing. The ground was frozen solid, a sheet of unforgiving ice and snow. There was no safe place to land, just a vast, white emptiness waiting below. But one American paratrooper, facing impossible odds, prepared to leap into the abyss anyway. His story is one that history books often overlook, a testament to the sheer force of human will against the harshest elements imaginable. It was the winter of 1944, one of the coldest Europe had seen in decades. The Second World War was raging, and the continent was buried under a thick blanket of snow. Temperatures plunged far below zero, turning the battlefields into frozen landscapes of despair. For the soldiers on the ground, it was a daily struggle against frostbite and hypothermia, a war fought not just against the enemy, but against nature itself. But the war didn't stop for winter. Airborne units, the elite paratroopers, were still being deployed behind enemy lines, tasked with missions critical to the Allied advance. These soldiers were trained for the extreme, but nothing could fully prepare them for this. Imagine being packed into the belly of a C-47 transport plane, the air thick with the smell of engine oil and nervous sweat. The constant drone of the engines is a deep hum you feel in your bones. You're flying low and fast over enemy territory. Outside, it's a world of white. Snow covers everything: the fields, the forests, the roads. The biting cold seeps through the metal fuselage of the aircraft, a constant creeping chill that numbs your fingers and toes, even through thick gloves and boots. The men are quiet, each lost in their own thoughts, checking their gear for the 10th time. The parachute pack feels heavy on your back, a strange mix of hope and dead weight. Every rivet in the plane seems to groan under the strain of the flight and the frigid air. The windows are frosted over, offering only glimpses of the ghostly terrain below. This wasn't just a mission. It was a leap into a frozen hell. Then the red light flashes on. The command rings out. Stand up. Hook up. The jump master, a figure of stoic calm in the chaos, moves down the line, checking each man's static line, giving a firm pat on the back. The noise level skyrockets as the large cargo doors slide open and a violent blast of Arctic air floods the cabin. It's a physical shock, stealing the breath from your lungs and stinging your exposed skin. The roar of the wind and engines is deafening. Below, the world is a blur of white and gray. Visibility is near zero. The intelligence reports said the drop zone was a snow-covered field, but from this height, it looks like a sheet of solid ice. There are no landmarks, no friendly lights, just an endless expanse of hostile territory. The green light flashes. The jumpmaster yells, "Go, go, go." And one by one, men disappear into the screaming wind, into the heart of the storm. The jump is a violent, disorienting experience. The initial shock of the cold air is followed by the powerful jerk of the parachute deploying. For a few brief moments, there is a strange, almost peaceful silence as you float beneath the silk canopy, a tiny speck against a vast, gray sky. But that peace is shattered by the reality of the ground rushing up to meet you. The landing isn't soft. It's brutal. You hit the frozen earth with a bone-jarring impact. Some men are lucky, landing in deeper snowdrifts that cushion their fall. Others aren't. They hit patches of ice or thinly covered rock, resulting in sprains, fractures, and worse. The sound of the wind is replaced by the muffled groans of injured men scattered across the drop zone. Once on the ground, the true struggle begins. Your body is screaming from the impact and the numbing cold. Every movement is a monumental effort. Your gear, which felt heavy in the plane, now feels like it's made of lead. The snow is deep in places, sometimes up to your waist, making every step an exhausting battle. You have to get out of your parachute harness quickly, gather your equipment, and find your fellow soldiers before you freeze, or the enemy finds you. The cold is relentless. It seeps into your bones, slowing your thoughts, making your fingers clumsy and unresponsive. Your breath freezes in the air, creating a cloud of mist with every exhale. Weapons can jam. Radios fail. Simple tasks like opening a ration can or applying a bandage become Herculean challenges. The mission objective, once clear and concise in the briefing room, now seems like a distant, almost impossible goal. Survival is the new mission. Against all odds, the paratroopers regrouped. They tended to the wounded as best they could, sharing body heat and what little medical supplies they had. They navigated through the frozen forests, guided by compass and instinct. They moved slowly, deliberately, preserving energy, always listening for the slightest sound of an enemy patrol. The cold was a constant threat, a silent enemy that was more dangerous than any soldier. Every decision was weighed against the risk of frostbite or freezing to death. Yet they pushed on. They carried out their sabotage missions. They scouted enemy positions, and they fought when they had to. It was a testament to their training, their discipline, and an unbreakable spirit that refused to be extinguished by the cold. They fought for each other, driven by a bond forged in the belly of that plane and solidified on the frozen ground of a foreign land. History remembers the great battles, the names of generals, and the turning points of the war. We see the grand strategies on maps, the arrows pointing to victory. But we often forget the individual stories, the quiet moments of incredible bravery that made those victories possible. The story of that winter jump is not about a famous battle. It's about survival. It's about the human cost of war, a cost measured not just in lives lost in combat, but in the struggle against the elements, against fear, and against despair. These stories of endurance show the true character of the soldiers who fought, reminding us that behind every statistic and every headline, there were individuals who faced the impossible, and somehow, someway, found the strength to carry on. Their legacy is not just in the battles they won, but in the simple, profound act of surviving. Thank you for watching. If you found this story of resilience inspiring, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more hidden histories from the front lines. We'll see you next time.